wash my soul in the ocean, in the tears of God, I let it go.
Hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from astrolada.com, and this is your November 2021 video horoscope for all the 12 signs. And we're going to focus on the eclipse, which is happening in Taurus, and a few other important events. November is a bit more tense, but I'm going to lead you through that, prepare you. So, hopefully, forewarned is forearmed. And I just want to announce that my 2022 video horoscope for each of the 12 signs are ready. Last year we sold like 10,000 and this year they're coming out now. They're a discounted price of $12 till the middle of November. After that they go to the full price, and each sign is 2 hours. And you can also get all 12 signs for the price of just 4 or something like that, the whole package. Anyway, let's start with the 2021 November horoscopes. Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising, November 2021. Well, the month starts on the 4th of November with a new moon, Gemini, in your, what house is it? 6th house. New moon is about new beginnings. 6th house is about career, is about employment, employees, if you have anything. So something new can appear there, and it's going to happen quite suddenly and unexpectedly, because Uranus is making exact opposition to this new moon. So the new beginnings that are coming into your life at the first week of the month are kind of very fast, a bit shocking, a bit unexpected, and not necessarily in a negative way always, but you just have to act very fast. And for some of you, it can indicate new beginnings in a career, like a new job or new project that suddenly they start. And this project might be something Uranian in nature, like with new technology or with social media or involving large groups of people, with something more alternative and more on the cutting edge, or some sudden change in work positions, quitting one, starting different one. Or some employees might suddenly, some new employees can appear for you, or you might take a spontaneous decision to get a pet. 6 house rules also pets. But there might be some disruptions to your work process, because this new moon, it's with Uranus, exact opposition, which means that something suddenly flips there. You have to react fast, you know. But I don't know. You Gemini are quite fast people, so I think you can deal quite well with that. On another level, the 6th house is health. So for some of you, it can indicate some new beginnings in regards to your health or daily routines through which you keep your health. What time you wake up? Do you brush your teeth? How you eat? Do you exercise? What's your posture? So you might very suddenly decide to change something in your daily routines. Maybe stop smoking, or start exercising, or start something, something that you kind of comes to you suddenly. Maybe even someone else incentivizes it to you or pushes you into that, because the opposition means maybe someone else is involved with that to push you in that direction. And in some case scenario, it can be the start of some health issue, which again is like a signal to you, and that comes very suddenly, but which is kind of a signal to you to take your health more seriously and address it in some way with better routines, better lifestyle choices. And sometimes Uranus, because it's involved with this new moon, can be something connected to the nervous system, but we can't make such specific predictions. And then around the 10th, your planet, Mercury, is going to join Mars. So maybe 8th, 9th, 10th, you can notice that there is Mars in your horoscope also rules the 6th house. So there might be some important developments and decisions connected to your work, some important things that you have to do with your work, do something behind the scenes, or fix some problem, for example, because Mars is a planet of fixing problems, especially in the 6th house. Be a bit more careful with your health around the 10th, sorry. And maybe 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, because Mars and Mercury are very close, and Mars is inflammatory conditions. So the first 10 days, 15 days of November. Be careful because your planet that rules you is with Mars, inflammatory or acute conditions in the 6th house of health and accidents as well. So be careful with that. And especially around the 9th, 10th, 11th, Mercury is not only with Mars, but it's square exactly Saturn. So there is a bit of pressure to you around the 10th. You might notice that this day, or maybe 2-3 days in a row, there are a bit more blockages, there are extra duties and responsibilities that you have to do, a few hoops to deal with, that there might be some, in some cases, even some legal matters to deal with. Saturn is in the 9th house. Or there might be some issues connected to power struggles, even because Saturn is one of those power authority planet that you have to deal with some authority. Or you might have to correct or fix something of some sort as well, because Saturn rules correction. So around that time, or maybe you have some work to do, because Mercury, you are in the 6th house of work, duties, responsibilities, any kind of errands you might have at home, even if you don't work, that you need to deal with, some difficult task, as a work or responsibility that you have to do around those days, and you have to solve as a problem. And the final result might be quite nice as well, but you're under a lot of pressure between a hard rock and between a rock and a hard place, they call it, because both Mars and Saturn, the two malefics as they call it, are affecting you. But again, this can give you an impetus, something that upsets you, whatever, that gives you an impetus to fix something, to change something, to take action. Sometimes anger, which is Mars, is one of the only things to make us take action, whether it's with your health or work or direction in life. And Saturn is some kind of delays or blockage or some kind of authority or some kind of criticism that has to be dealt with around that time and overcome. I would advise you not to travel around that time, 9th, 10th, 11th. I mean, Mercury is the planet of traveling. Saturn from the 10th house is square. Its 10th house is flights and foreign places. So just if you can, or at least on the 10th or 9th, 10th, those 2 days. But you might get some important work done around that time and decisions taken. Then you're going to have an eclipse on the then Mars and Mercury squares Uranus, opposes Uranus. Kind of hectic month, it's your planet, and basically Saturn, Mars, and Uranus are interacting, especially till around the 17th, 18th. So more likely for accidents, for stresses that can affect your health as well, which is around the 6th house. So, or maybe you're very kind of hectic at work and you have to make some changes there. You have to get a lot of things done. But we can always make lemonade out of lemons. I've had months with the most difficult transits and I've been most productive there. I take that tension and frustration and change something. So you can always use it for good. Then you have full moon eclipse on the 19th in your 12th house. Now, 12th house, it's house where it's not directly affecting you, but many Geminis, especially Gemini sun people, tend to have at least one planet in Taurus, like Venus, Mercury. If you have it in the last 5 degrees of Taurus, 25 till 30, you might have a big shift, especially if it's Venus in Taurus, might be in relationships. But now we don't know if you have this or no, but a full moon eclipse in your 12th house is about completions of something, and you can receive the results of that because it's with the Rahu, with the North Node, which Rahu is to complete, to receive material results. So maybe about completing something the last 10 days of the month. Actually it affects for 6 months. But also full moon, it's about realizing that something has reached its end. It's given its fullest potential. And in some 12 house is connected to self-undoing behaviors, bad habits as well, which might be like addictions, for example, that we're quite unconscious, like, for example, that they stem from some kind of trauma or whatever, but some kind of self-undoing, whether it's addiction, they can be porn addiction, they can be food addiction, they can be cigarette, alcohol, medication, but anything you are escaping reality with, let's say, and self-sabotaging or whatever you call hidden vices. If for some of you this full moon eclipse can trigger a period, because there will be more eclipses there in your 12th house, of about 1.5 years when the eclipses are starting in this 12th house, where you kind of are more driven to deal with those matters. You can't put them under the carpet. They'll show very more intense consequences, such matters. Like I said, hidden vices, extramarital relationships as well, the 12th house. Anything that kind of a bit shameful we're doing, or our own weaknesses, you know. So it might be a call for you to deal and seeing the results, or seeing the consequences, because full moon is about seeing the consequences of such actions and deciding to make a change and deciding that's enough, you know. Sometimes the 12th house full moon eclipse can indicate some secret coming to the surface that you become aware of, and something that's been happening behind your back, and you learn news about it. It's not necessarily something bad, you know, but sometimes 12th house is hidden enemies. So you might find out something about it, but better earlier than later to find out if there are such things and take some decision in regards to that. Another thing about the 12th house is there might be some spiritual, very powerful activation, because 12th house is intuition or connection with the invisible worlds, messages from there. So some of you might receive some powerful message, connection to departed loved one, invisible world, or some spiritual or psychological breakthrough, let's say. That's also a psychological house where you can have psychological you reach like a final rope or clarification of something, because the full moon puts light somewhere. Clarification about some psychological situation in your life, something about the past that becomes clearer to you, and that you go full moon, maybe you finish it, you know, and you release it or even benefit in some way from this realization. On another level, if you're in any career which is spiritual or healing, which is 12th house, or which is connected to art, and for example, someone who has to be in the art studio, isolated, writing on projects, create, you know, taking inspirations from the invisible world. So graphic designers, or people that work in hospitals as well, people that work with refugees or foreigners, or people that are healers, you know, these are all 12th house careers. So in prisons, they can have some big culmination at their work, like a possibility to expansion and growth, to seeing the results, maybe a reward, or some seeing results or a peak there at in such 12 house careers. For them, it can be quite gainful because it's with a star that is connected to wealth, our goal. So only if you're in 12 house careers, those. For others, if you might be the manifestation of some desired holiday abroad. For some of you might be the manifestation of 12 houses to release something and to let go of certain responsibility, and you know, so that can be one way it can play, or foreign countries and so on. Some powerful activation in regards to that. Now there is another thing though that starts like a good trend which will carry on for months. And that's Venus entering Capricorn in November and will stay there till almost the end of February 2022. And because it will get retrograde there, so you can reap a lot of, Venus is the small benefit. So wherever it goes, it makes things easy, you can benefit. So you're starting some trend where over the next 4 months, maybe by February 2022, you might benefit from someone else's resources. You can receive some grant from government, or you know, and it starts from November already, those developments, so some more money through your clients, or through a business project you've developed with another person, more money or gain somehow. Or if you await some money that comes to you from alimony, or from business partnership, or from the talents of others, you can receive more support and help from others. So maybe your husband or wife or boyfriend, girlfriend, or business partner will contribute more financially. You're definitely going to see more finances and more support coming to you from other sources. Also, if you have some stocks that you've put, maybe you'll see a trend of things getting good there, or some mutual funds pooled resources like in hedge funds or something like that, pension funds. You might start some process of changing something there, but the final result will be beneficial. But ultimately, I think that your financial situation or mutual finances will improve. There will be some correction that happens around December and January while Venus is retrograde, with mutual budget or finances or plan for work with clients, resources, and so on. But overall, good. Plus, intimacy can increase. There's another hidden house that's being activated for you. There might be some, you can benefit in some way from some secret as well, because 8th house is another secret house. And there might be more confidential interactions with others, because Venus is a relationship planet, and something very confidential can make you connect to another in a deeper level, sharing some secret or some private information or some private experience with another. This activation of two hidden houses, the 12th, the 8th, I don't know. What are you going to be doing, Gemini? But the 8th house, also Venus, when it transits there, can indicate that you can improve or benefit from taxes in some way. You can get some tax rebate over the next 4 months, or you can, hidden money is also the 8th house. You can somehow benefit from hidden money. You can taxes, or some will, or some inheritance even, to benefit from this Venus in the 8th house. And 8th house is their intimate life of a person, so Venus can definitely improve that for the next 4 months. Review it for a little bit during its retrograde motion in December. Another thing, the 8th house rules is astrology and the occult, so you can really gain a lot of joy diving into learning and pleasure. Venus is pleasure, diving in learning from astrology, from hidden information, conspiracy theories, psychology. If you want to learn astrology, come to me. Then 8th house is also the house of learning about life after death, taboo topics, watching crime shows and such things, maybe enjoying a lot such things, or enjoying some kind of a private, more hidden relationships. Getting a lot of joy from studying, researching, a lot of pleasure from researching, digging behind the surface, that's behind the surface, which is starting for 4-month period as well. Okay, so that's a lot of where a lot of good things from this hidden 8th house is coming to you. Mutual finances, resources, secrets, hidden money, gains from others, and so on, and the occult, the invisible worlds. So there you go. That's overall for you, Gemini, and check out my 2022 video horoscopes, 2 hours for each sign, and also my 2022 electronic calendar, which is 124 pages with description of all the full moon, new moons, eclipses, transit, aspects, anything that's happening in the year, planets going direct backwards. Yeah, so thank you very much.